Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this is another unfortunate story that's coming straight to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where we have several police officers that have gone amok and have committed crimes against alleged innocent civilians. And they had this place called the Brave Cave, where they would take individuals who are being investigated or even arrested or detained, and there has been all kinds of allegations of physical abuse, illegal searches that have taken place in Baton Rouge, and now they are trying to revamp their entire police department, and several police officers have been fired and are being charged for their abuse behind the badge. So let's go. Straight out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge police reckon with mounting allegations of misconduct and abuse. Recent lawsuits filed against the Baton Rouge Police Department have put a spotlight on a long string of misconduct and abuse claims against the department's officers, including at a police warehouse referred to as the Brave Cave. The FBI of New Orleans field office, alongside the Civil Rights Division and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Louisiana, announced last week they were opening a federal investigation into the Baton Rouge Police Department, BRPD, amid allegations that members of the police force may have abused their authority. The announcement came days after a series of lawsuits had been filed against Baton Rouge Police Department officers for alleged civil rights violations, including at the hands of BRPD's Troy Lawrence Jr. Now follow me, Troy Lawrence Jr., 26 years old, and there's a Troy Lawrence Sr., his father. So, Troy Lawrence Jr., 26-year-old officer and the son of the deputy chief, Troy Lawrence Sr., who, despite his short tenure with the force, that's Troy Lawrence Jr., is alleged in lawsuits as having an excessive record of injuring members of the public. So Troy Lawrence Jr. is 26 years old, hasn't been on the force long, and he's already had a myriad of alleged lawsuits of excessive force. The lawsuits also put a spotlight on the Baton Rouge Police Department's Secret Crimes Unit, known as BRAVE, BRAVE, an acronym for Baton Rouge Area Violence Elimination, and their alleged use of a former narcotics unit facility that lawsuits have claimed became a warehouse for violent interrogations, known to Baton Rouge Police Department officers as the Brave Cave. Lawsuits filed against the department allege beatings and strip searches of suspects at this facility, with police officers allegedly turning their body camera off in many of these instances. On Wednesday, the Baton Rouge Metropolitan Council held a meeting focused on allegations surrounding the so-called Brave Cave. Just a few weeks before Baton Rouge Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome ordered the facility to be shut down and the street crime unit to be disbanded. Who is going to tell the people? Which one of us is going to tell them? Who is going to stand up right now with me and tell them that this issue came before us months ago? Council member Jennifer Rocca said during the meeting. And we asked for something to be done, yet here we are sitting here tonight. She added, anybody else going to stand with me? Because I know y'all were in the room with me. Most of her 11 fellow council members stood up, It is not clear what issue Rocca was referring to that came up months ago. Rocca did not immediately respond to an ABC News request for comment. Baton Rouge Police Department Chief Murphy Paul, who was at the meeting, allegedly went straight to the FBI upon learning about the allegations surrounding the warehouse, this Brave Cave. "I've been quiet, but I'm not going to be quiet anymore," Chief Paul said during the meeting. Paul said officers had been terminated and others resigned as a part of the department's investigation. 14 police officers were terminated, he said while addressing the council. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 resigned under investigation. In response to Chief Paul's statement, Rocca said, "If this is what de-escalation looks like, the police chief needs to be immediately removed also." The police department did not immediately respond back. In a previous statement to ABC News, the Baton Rouge Police Department said they were committed to addressing these troubling accusations and have initiated administrative and criminal investigations. On Thursday, 4 Baton Rouge police officers connected to the force's street crimes unit were arrested by state authorities, according to a source familiar with the investigation. The arrest warrants are not related to the Brave Cave, according to the source, but for a prior incident. Now let's talk about the excessive record of misconduct alleged in the lawsuit. Now let's go back to Troy Lawrence Jr. Officer Troy Lawrence Jr. joined the Baton Rouge Police Department in 2019, and despite his short tenure, his dangerous temper has led to numerous internal affairs investigations, according to one of the lawsuits recently filed against Lawrence Jr., Officer Lawrence Jr. The first publicly known incident involving Lawrence Jr. happened less than 5 months after he was sworn into the police force. The lawsuit claims that on New Year's Day 2020, Officer Lawrence Jr., along with another Baton Rouge Police Department officer, stopped the car of Clarence Green and his younger brother, then 16 years old. Officer Lawrence Jr. and the other officer ordered the Green brothers to step out of the car, and they handcuffed them. Body camera footage of the incident, reviewed by ABC News, allegedly showed that Clarence Green and his brother were strip searched. The lawsuit, in which Clarence Jr. was identified as John Doe, also alleges that he and another officer then proceeded to search the home of their mother without a warrant and with guns drawn. This case later settled for $35,000 in May of 2021. Here's another. Less than a year later, another incident allegedly captured on camera seemed to show Officer Lawrence Jr. aggressively detaining a woman after he reported to the scene of a traffic accident. According to the lawsuit filed by the woman, Charmaine Reed, Officer Lawrence Jr. allegedly told her the next time Lawrence Jr. allegedly told her that next time he won't be so nice before releasing her. The lawsuit settled for $55,000 after Baton Rouge Police Department declined its settlement offer of $40,000 and an apology. Thomas Frampton, the lawyer for Reed, told ABC News in both settlements that the city denied any wrongdoing. There are currently 3 active lawsuits against Officer Lawrence Jr. One recent lawsuit filed by plaintiff Jeremy Lee alleges that Officer Lawrence Jr. and other Baton Rouge Police Department officers took him to the Brave Cave on January the 9th and beat him, and they turned off their body camera. Medical records provided by Lee's lawyers to ABC News show that he was treated for a broken rib and pain in his chest and face before being taken to a local jail. Just 2 weeks after Lee's complaint was filed, Tarnell Brown, a 47-year-old grandmother, filed a different lawsuit against Officer Lawrence Jr. and 2 other Baton Rouge Police Department officers, including an unnamed female officer, alleging she was held for over 2 hours at the Brave Cave facility on June 10th. While she was detained, Brown's lawsuit claims the officer stripped her and did a body cavity search on her, allegedly holding a flashlight to her private parts as they did so. She was let go without charge, the lawsuit says. According to one of the lawsuits against Officer Lawrence Jr., and another officer, Sergeant Gunter, later told the department's internal affairs that he believed Officer Lawrence Jr. was dangerous and that he did not want to work in his presence, adding that he did not know what Officer Lawrence Jr. was capable of and that he felt the officer had a lot of anger against Sergeant Gunter. The investigation resulted in Lawrence Jr. being suspended. Sergeant Gunter declined to comment for this story. Officer Lawrence Jr. finally resigned from the Baton Rouge Police Department on August 29th, after news of the impending lawsuit from Jeremy Lee was first reported by local news. The same day, Mayor President Broome ordered the Brave Cave to be shut down. On September 21st of last year, ABC affiliate WBRZ reported that Lawrence Jr. had been arrested on a misdemeanor battery charge related to an August 8th incident in which body camera footage allegedly showed a handcuffed suspect in the rear seat of his patrol car being dry stunned by a department-issued taser without giving the subject an opportunity to comply with verbal commands. Dry stun refers to the use of a taser on a person to inflict pain without incapacitating the person. The lawsuit alleges that no Baton Rouge Police Department employee with Troy. The lawsuit alleges that no BRPD employee with Officer Troy Lawrence Jr.'s seniority has been suspended by the Baton Rouge Police Department more times for misconduct without being terminated than Troy Lawrence Jr. So there hasn't been any other officer, they're saying, in their department ever that has had this many complaints and allegations of misconduct and not being put on administrative leave. Remember, Troy Lawrence Jr., his father, Troy Lawrence Sr., is the chief. In conclusion, the Brave Cave. The warehouse, officially known as a narcotics processing facility, was originally used by the department's narcotics unit until September 2021, when the unit was disbanded following allegations of corruption that first came to light a year prior. Following the disintegration of the narcotics unit, about 20 law enforcement officers belonging to the street crimes unit and intelligence took over the facility. According to the recent lawsuits, the facility was then used by the unit as a torture warehouse. Torture in America, not the third world country. It is in that facility that Lee alleges to have been beaten by police and Brown claims to have been strip searched. This is where the Brave Cave, this torture warehouse, is where Lee alleges to have been beaten by police and the young lady Brown claims to have been strip searched. According to the respective lawsuits in these instances, Baton Rouge Police Department officers turned off their body cameras each time. In a statement Wednesday, Broome said, "We are taking this matter seriously and are committed to truth, justice, and the safety of the Baton Rouge community. The Brave Cave allegations or any inhumane act is not the Baton Rouge any of us want. So there will be accountability and there will continue to be change. We are better than this, and we must not allow ourselves to be defined by this moment in time," the statement continued. Red Stick will continue to rise in the face of these allegations because there will be consequences for those who have done wrong. It is the right and only thing to do. The FBI has urged the public to come forward with any information regarding this case on criminally acting police officers in Baton Rouge and taking individuals, innocent citizens, to the Brave Cave and torturing, falsely interrogating these individuals under false pretense and causing physical and mental harm to innocent individuals. This is a clear example of a diseased state of corruption in this particular Baton Rouge Police Department that needs to be cleansed wholly, starting at the very top. There is no way on God's green earth that 14 or 15 police officers that were involved with this brave cave, this torture warehouse, and not any of the higher ups in the police department had no knowledge or awareness of it. I don't believe it. I think they took a blind eye and they ignored it, and they knew that this subjugated negative energy that was taking place in this police department with these officers was happening all the time. The main perpetrator, allegedly, is Troy Lawrence Jr., who is the son of the chief. And he hasn't been on the force that long, 26 years old. He is coming out the gate with all this egregious and negative behavior and crossing the line of proper policing and public safety that he thought that his arrogance, and I'm assuming his nepotism with his father being the chief, that he was above the fray or chasm of being caught or being fired or even charged with civil rights violations. I'm not for defunding the police, but we need to make sure that we wash and cleanse all the bad apples in our public safety departments, in our police departments. We need to vet these individuals better, and proper policing and a healthy public safety realm or department is integral to the welfare and the health of our cities and our states and America as a whole. There's no way that this should be taking place in Baton Rouge, where police officers are taking detainees and then subjugating them to horrible interrogations and physical abuse, like they are running some kind of Guantanamo Bay in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I did a video several months ago where the governor came out and said there was a state of emergency because they are down about 3,000 officers across the state. And places like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, some of these cities in Louisiana, there is a public safety risk that has become top priority in the state of Louisiana. And the governor has made an outcry that they need more cops, they need better policing in order to ensure that the state of Louisiana doesn't have a tremendous high tick in crimes. And now you have this taking place in Baton Rouge, where these officers who are protected by the badge and working for the badge are committing crimes that against innocent civilians, and they have crossed the line to become criminals. We need to respect our professionals, our judges, our lawyers, our doctors, our teachers, our professors, but they're just people. And evidently you had a whole axiom or chasm of bad police officers that decided to go rogue, and they even had a brave cave or torture warehouse where they were torturing innocent civilians. The civil lawsuits are going to go through the roof. I think they need to wash out, even though the numbers for policing is at an all-time low in Louisiana. They need to take their time and make sure they vet and get the right police officers in their departments to ensure the safety and welfare not only of the citizens of Louisiana, but also the police officers. If you are causing corruption throughout your city as a cop, eventually that's going to filter back to your police department. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.